Thomas Stearns Eliot, usually known as T.S. Eliot, one of the 20th century's major poets.
Hello, Sophia.
Alright, now tell us, where did you spend most of your life?
Well, you see, I was born in St. Louis, Missouri. However, I moved to England in 1914, and I settled, worked, and married there.
Interesting. Alright, now, do you think you could list some of your most famous works for us?
Well, you see, some of my most famous works include the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock, The Wasteland, The Hollow Men, Ash Wednesday, Four Quartets, and Murder in the Cathedral.
I see. Now, what is a big accomplishment of yours?
Well, you see, in 1948, I won the Nobel Prize in Literature for being the most outstanding pioneer contribution to present-day poetry.
Oh, that's wonderful. Now, what would you say started your fascination with poetry?
Well, you see, when I was younger, I had some health issues which prevented me from living what you call a typical life. So I had to find other ways to express myself, and in my free time, I found poetry quite amusing.
I see. Now, were these feelings about being isolated from humanity ever reflected in your work?
Definitely they were. I spent most of my life as an observer, and I became disgusted with the superficial and mankind, and that inspired many of my poems.
Now, did you ever get married or anything?
Yes, my first marriage was quite troubling. My wife Vivian faced many health issues and died after many years of struggling. However, later I married my secretary, Esme Valerie Fletcher. After I died, she worked very hard to preserve my legacy.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Now, how did you die?
Well, you see, I died of emphysema, which is a lung disease. I died in my home in Kensington, London, on January 4th, 1965, and my ashes were later taken to St. Michael's Church, where a wall plaque commemorates my death. The quotation is from my poem, Beast Coker. It says, "In my beginning is my end, and in my end is my beginning."
Now, what would you say that your mark on the world was?
Well, you see, I wanted to open people's eyes to the corruption of humanity. We've been filled with so much superficiality, things have become void of meaning, and people have become filled with materialism. And I wanted to make note of this blindness in my poems.
Now, what do you think of today's society?
Well, let's just say I have a thing or two to say about it.
I see. Well, this concludes this week's issue of Dead Poet Report. Join us again next week.